Thanks for checking out this Climb Flow video. This time we're focusing on strong and flexy legs. Part 1 is the workout and part 2 is the follow-up stretchy stuff. You can do 1 and 2 together, or if you prefer, you can save part 2 for after any other workout things you might be finishing first. If you want to head straight to the workout, then skip to this time marker right here. We know how important it is fundamentally to be strong in the upper half when it comes to climbing, but we often overlook working on our lower half. Taking time to develop the lower half, the legs and the glutes, these really big muscle groups, can transform the ease of your climbing. Strong legs that drive into the wall and maneuver will take out the work from the upper half of your body, making overall for much more efficient and therefore easier climbing. Strong, flexible, mobile legs and hips are going to be able to generate the power that you need for dynamic movements and jumps, reach for those footholds that are further away or require a really big stretch, give you the strength for those one-leg pushes on those high heel rockovers and steps, work tricky calf burn inducing slabs with greater ease and help you to endure on longer routes. Quick note, as a general rule, in any lunges or bends, your knees should always be tracking over the line of your feet. Also, if you have bad knees, ankles or hips, be mindful. You don't have to do the intensive jump versions, but can do a modified low intensity step lunge instead. So try this twice a week and see how your overall strength and flexibility improves. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And lastly, onwards and upwards. Coming up to the top half of your mat, just taking a moment to get grounded through the feet, and with a big inhale, sweeping the arms all the way above the head, reaching tall. Exhale, folding over at the hips, softening the knees into a forward fold so you can sway side to side, relax through the neck, through the head, have a little bit of a play with some wrist movements as well. With an inhale, reaching halfway up to a long flat back, reaching through the top of the head and the fingers. Exhale to fold over. Twice more. Inhale, long flat back, lengthening through the legs as well. Exhale to fold. One more time. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, softening in. Planting the palms, walk your way back to a downward facing dog. Take a moment to get comfortable. Reaching up through the tailbone, hugging in through the middle and pushing the floor away through the palms and the fingers. Inhale to lift up to the tiptoes. Exhale to ease down. Inhale fills you up high. Exhale softens you in. Inhale reaching up. Exhale ease down. Inhale to tuck and roll all the way out to a high plank. So tucking the tailbone under, hugging in through the middle, switching on through the glutes and the thighs. Take a few breaths to rock backwards and forwards. Take one more inhale to fill your plank. Exhale, push back to your downward facing dog. Taking an inhale to sweep the right leg backwards and up high for a downward dog split. As you exhale, hug the knee towards the nose and float here for a moment. Inhale to sweep back up high to your split. Exhale, this time stepping between the hands to find a lunge. Press into the floor. Inhale to rise up to your high lunge, just tucking the tailbone under to open through the hip flexor. Exhale to sink down through the knees. Inhale fills you up. Exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale. Inhale to rise. This time as you exhale, the left hand comes down to the mat and inhale the right arm up to the ceiling for a big twisted stretch. Exhale the hand back to the mat to frame the foot. We're going to move into dynamic stretching to wake up the legs and the hips. So make a crown with both fingertips. Inhale to sink through the hips, open the chest. Exhale to fold over and lengthen the legs. Inhale, sink the hips, open the heart. Exhale, folding over, lengthening. Again, inhale, really moving with the breath here. Exhale gives you that length. Inhale, sinking the hips, open. Exhale, folding over, and one more time. Inhale and exhale. Bend the right knee, step the back foot in about half a pace, root to rise all the way up. We're going to move into single leg hops. An inhale sweeps you back to prepare, and as you exhale, springing and hopping on that right leg. Inhale sinks back. Exhale to lift. So we're moving through 6 of these and you want to really spring off that right foot. But if this is too much, you can just do a single step lunge instead for lower intensity. Inhale sinks you back with control. Rise up, find your balance. Exhale, sink, twist, reach. Really rooting into the feet for control. Inhale, lifting up tall through center. Exhale, sinking and twisting. One more time, lifting up. Exhale, sink, twist, reach. Inhale, tip the torso backwards for a reverse twist. Exhale to cartwheel forwards, crawling out and gently floating the back heel up so we can move into a supported warrior three. Reaching through that back heel and through the top of the head, trying to level the hips with the mat, but you can soften the right standing leg if you need to. Rooting to rise all the way up to stand on one leg, find your balance, and then we're going to float back to warrior three, pivoting at the hips, reaching out through the back heel, use the arms wide for balance if you like. Inhale to come all the way back up, exhale, rolling yourself out to warrior three. If you need to touch the floor, that's absolutely fine. Rolling yourself back up one more time, hugging in. We're going to catch the left knee with the right hand and let the left arm reach out behind you to have a little play with some balance here. If you want to take this a little bit further and get more into the legs, you can also grab the outside edge of that foot, extend the leg and reach out with that left arm behind you. Trade hands back to center, so the left fingers grab the big toe and we're going to use the right arm for balance. Let's play with a pistol squat. Hugging in through the lower abs, keep lifting through that left quad as you scoop yourself down with balance to sit on that right foot. If you need to touch the floor with the right hand, that's fine. Rooting into the right heel to rise all the way up to stand. Play with this as many times as you like. Gently release the foot and float yourself down into a standing split with the hips square, trying to reach the left heel as high up into the sky as you can. Easing the leg down, walk yourself all the way back to a downward facing dog. Let's work the other side. Taking a big inhale to sweep the left leg backwards and up high for your split, reaching up. Exhale to hug the knee to nose and float forwards. Inhale to sweep back up high to your split. Exhale, this time stepping between the hands to find a lunge. Pressing into the floor, inhale, root to rise, tuck that tailbone under, switch on through the glutes and the quads. Exhale to sink through the knees. Inhale to lift. Exhale to sink. Inhale, root to rise. One more exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale the right hand down to the mat on the inside of the foot. Inhale the left arm up to the ceiling for a big twisted stretch. Exhaling to come back through center, make a crown once again with the fingertips. As you inhale, sink through the hips, open through the heart. Exhale to fold over and lengthen the legs. Inhale, sink through the hips. Exhale, folding over, lengthening. Inhale, sink. Exhale, folding over. 2 more times, moving with the breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale to fold. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Folding over, bending through the left knee, stepping the back foot in about half a pace. Inhale, root to rise. Prep for those one-legged hops. Inhale sets you back. Exhale, drive and hop through that left leg. Inhale back. Exhale to hop. So 6 of these again in total, really trying to spring off that left foot. And again, if this is too much, move into step lunges instead. Last one. Inhale, sink back with control. Rooting to rise. Exhale, sink and twist to the left side this time. Inhale, rising up tall. Exhale, sinking and twisting, grounding through the feet. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, sink, twist, reach. Inhale, tip back for a twisted stretch. Exhale, cartwheeling forwards and once again floating up the back heel to find that supported warrior three. Trying to level the hips with the mat, reaching through the back heel and the top of the head. Grounding through the left leg, rolling up to stand, find your balance. We're going to float back to that warrior three, pivoting at the hips. The arms can float out to the side, or if you need to touch the floor with the fingertips, that's fine. Hugging in, rolling up to stand, find the balance. Once again, pivoting at the hips, trying to keep them level with the mat as you float into the warrior three, rolling all the way up to stand. Let's take a twist, catching the right knee with the left hand and reaching the right arm behind you. Really rooting through that left leg to help with the balance. And if you want to take it a bit further, you can grab the outside edge of the right foot, extend the leg, and then try reaching behind you. Soften the left knee a bit if you need to. Come back round to center, trading sides. The right fingers grab the big toe, and we're going to move into that pistol squat play again. Hugging in through the lower abs, lifting through that right quad, scooping yourself down to float and balance on that left foot. Driving into the heel and rising all the way up to stand. So again, play with this as many times as you like. Gently release the foot and float yourself down to a standing split, squaring the hips, lifting that heel up into the sky as high as you can. Ease the foot down, roll up to stand, step wide on your mat with your feet about 45 degrees. Tuck the tailbone under, and remember, the knees need to press out over the line of the feet in these squats. One slow-mo, taking an inhale to sink down low. Don't bend past 90 if you have bad knees. Driving into the heels as you exhale to reach up tall and flexing the toes to balance on the heels if you like. doing 8 in total. So not only does this work your major leg groups, your quads, your glutes, but it also really works on your balance and stability. So if you fall over or tip backwards, don't worry about it. I do too. I look like I'm about to fall over here. And if you don't want to flex the toes, that's absolutely fine. Just move through normal squats. Open out into a warrior two on the left side, just checking that that knee doesn't go past the ankle in the lunge, and you can hang out here from anywhere between 10 to 30 breaths depending on how much burn you would like to feel. Pivot onto the ball of the foot, squaring the hips, tucking the tailbone under into a forward lunge. So again, you can hang out here for 10 to 20 breaths. Into switch lunge jumps, inhale to sweep back, exhale to jump and switch. Move like this for 6 jumps. And again, if this is too much, you can also just do an alternating step lunge instead. After those, step to the side of your mat or move into skater jumps. Standing on the left leg, hopping over to the right side of the mat, landing in a curtsy with control, the left hand gently taps, switching over to the other side. So you're trying to make this as springy but as controlled in your landing as possible. If you want to dial it up a notch, then try floating the leg behind you to add a bit of extra balance and play into your movement. Wobbling and falling over, it's all part of the jam, so just have fun with it. Okay, opening out to the right side into your warrior two this time, settling into that lunge from anywhere between 10 to 30 deep breaths. You want to feel the legs working. Pivoting onto the back ball of the foot into your forward-facing lunge, tucking that tailbone under, squaring the hips and settling here for again about 10 deep breaths. Prep for 6 more jumping lunges. Inhale to sweep back, exhale to jump and switch. Trying to bring as much spring and lift into this movement, but again be mindful if you need to do a step lunge instead, that's absolutely fine. When you've finished, step up to the top of your mat, inhale to reach up tall, exhale, folding over at the hips, release, you're done with the heavy movement. Time to lengthen and release through the legs and hips. Make your way back to a downward facing dog and just take a moment to get settled here. With a big inhale, sweep the right leg backwards and up high for your downward dog split. As you exhale, send that knee wide to the right elbow as you lean forward. Inhale to sweep back. Exhale, move across to the opposite elbow. Inhale, sweep back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach back, and as you exhale this time, planting the foot wide of the mat outside the right hand, and allow the hips to sink down. So just take a moment to get comfortable here, maybe rocking a little bit side to side and backwards and forwards just to ease into this wider hip space. Inhale to sink through the hips, exhale to fold over, lengthen the legs. Inhale to sink deep, exhale, push and fold. Moving like this in this dynamic way helps to open through the inner hips, lengthen through the back of the legs. Flexing the foot is optional, so if that doesn't feel good for you, you can just keep the foot flat. Soft knees are always an option too. Sink back into that lunge and allow the body to pivot open into a wide side lunge, also allowing for that left thigh to gently rotate upwards, which can be helped by flexing the foot up. Just sink into the hips and take a moment to rock side to side here. Use the hands to assist you to crawl over to the other side. You can point and flex the foot just to get a little bit more into that stretch through the inner thigh. Don't get hung up if the heel on the lunging side doesn't always want to go flat on the floor. And also be mindful of the knees and the hips. If this is too aggressive, elevate the hips so that the lunge is less than 90 degrees and use the hands for support. Eventually pointing that left foot so you really engage through the whole length of that leg. Start rotating the body and the hips very carefully so you bring yourself round into a forward-facing lunge. You should feel the stretch all through the leg through the degrees of rotation. Allow the back knee to find the mat. Tuck the tailbone under as you start lifting up through the chest. Tucking the tailbone under protects the lower spine and helps you to open through the hip flexors. Make sure you're breathing through all of this stretching. Bring the left hand down to support on the mat, pressing the back knee off the floor as you continue rotating to the right side. Move through this rotation slowly and carefully. You can take time to pause at any points of tension and let the muscles lengthen and ease out. The right foot continues to pivot open as you go further into that rotation, eventually coming to rest on that left hip. This can be quite an intensive stretch all down through the left leg and through the right hip. So be mindful of your body and your range of motion. Stay with your breath and don't push yourself through anything that's explicitly painful. Work your way back to facing the front of your mat with the hands on the inside of that right foot. We're going to go for a deeper quad stretch by catching the left foot with the right hand. You can take an inhale to open through the chest, and then exhale as you start drawing that heel closer towards your glutes for a really deep quad stretch. The tailbone tucks under as you consciously direct your pelvis towards the mat to deepen the stretch through the hip flexors and the psoas muscles. Carefully release the foot, bring the hands back to center as you tuck the back toe underneath and press the knee off the mat. Pick up the right foot to flip it on the inside and drop the knee to the outside of the mat. Let the weight shuffle backwards as you square off the hips. We're moving into a pigeon stretch. Take a moment to inhale to lengthen and lift, and then exhale to crawl yourself down to a resting space, whether that's on your forearms or resting on your forehead. You can settle here for 10 to 30 deep breaths. Use the hands to walk yourself upright, carefully releasing the legs and moving yourself back to a downward facing dog. We'll work through the other side. Inhale to sweep the left leg backwards and up for your split. Exhale, send it wide to the left elbow as you lean. Inhale, sweep back. Exhale, go across and twist. Inhale, reaching back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reaching up. This time, planting the foot wide of the left hand, allowing the hips to sink down and just taking time to, again, sway side to side or rock a bit backwards and forwards to ease into the space. Once again, inhale to sink the hips. Exhale to lengthen and fold. Inhale, sink. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale deeper into the hips. Exhale to fold. Again, the foot flex is optional. You can have a play with that if you like. Inhaling to sink. One more exhale to fold. Coming back into that lunge and letting the body rotate open so you come into a wide side lunge, allowing for the right thigh this time to gently rotate upwards. Use the hands to support you as you crawl over to the other side and sink to the right, having a play with pointing and flexing the foot. Remember, you can take a softer approach by elevating the hips, eventually coming back over to the left side one more time. Pointing the right foot this time so you activate through the right leg. Slowly and carefully work your way back round to face the front of your mat so you feel the stretch through the inner thighs and hips. Gently place the back knee onto the mat, tuck the tailbone under as you start lifting through the chest to feel the stretch through the hip flexors. Keep your hands on the mat if you need to, or you can use blocks to give you extra elevation and support. Stay with your breath. Let the right hand come down to the mat. Press the back knee off the mat to activate through the leg, and continue to rotate through the left side, taking time to work through the degrees of rotation, pausing through any points of tension. This is a very active stretch. Working your way down to sit onto that right hip, and you should really be feeling it all through the right leg and through the left hip as well. Unwinding yourself back to center with the hands on the inside of the foot, let the back knee come down to the mat. The left hand is going to reach round and grab the right foot for a deeper quad stretch. Just taking an inhale to open through the chest. Exhale to draw the heel towards your glutes as you tuck the tailbone under and continue to drive the pelvis towards the mat. Keep breathing. Gently release the foot, bring the hands back to center on the inside of the left foot. Pressing the back knee off the mat, pick up the left foot to flip it on the inside and drop the left knee to the outside of the mat. Shuffle the weight backwards in the hips, squaring off the hips. Take a moment to walk the hands in. Inhale to lengthen and lift. Exhale to walk yourself down to a resting space. You can hang out here for 10 to 30 deep breaths. Walk yourself back upright, this time sinking onto that left hip so you can pivot the right leg all the way round to the front to come to your sit bones. Open the legs out to a straddle. So this is very different for everyone. Some people might have really wide legs. For other people, they'll be slightly close together. Take a moment to press into the mat behind you, taking a deep inhale to open, lift and lengthen the body. Exhale to ease yourself back down onto the hips and start working your way forward, maintaining a gentle upward rotation of the thighs and a gentle flexing of the toes upwards. Allow your inhale to create length from your sit bones all the way up the spine to the top of the head, and the exhale to soften you into that fold a little bit further. Inhale creates length and room. Exhale softens you in. So rather than thinking about this being a stretching exercise, think of this more as a breathing activity. Inhale, create room. Exhale, soften in. Stay with this for 10 to 20 really deep breaths. Eventually walking back up, bring the legs together into an L shape. Pressing into the mat behind you, take an inhale to open and lift long through the front body. Exhale to ease back onto your hips. We're going to fold over once more. Inhale creates length from the sit bones all the way to the top of the head. Exhale eases you in. Inhale, feel length through the back of the hamstrings. Exhale, soften back in. Keep your attention on your breathing and get interested in what happens to your body when you actually give yourself time to breathe. Wind yourself back up and eventually work down onto your back, bringing the knees to the chest and rock side to side. You can open the knees wide and work through a few circles inwards and outwards to loosen up through the hips. Take one moment to reach everything up to the ceiling, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this workout and stretch sequence and reap the benefits in your climbing practice. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more good stuff to come, and a big thanks to the Arch Climbing Wall London for supporting this series.